What's up, everybody? This your girl, Lady E, checking in for another Thursday episode of Enters the Lab. Tonight is going to be a quick little show because, again, we done had coaching surprises. There's a sweepstakes on the market for one of the best defensive players in the league. That's after Aaron Donald. But we also are going to talk about the Super Bowl that is happening this Sunday. And then after that, baby, we get into draft picks. We're going to get into draft time. So make sure you stay tuned because we will be having our special guest come on and talking about what he saw at the Senior Bowl, but also what to expect for Combine. So y'all get ready. It's time to enter the lab. What's up? What's up, CHenry?
Lady E, what's going on?
Man, it's Thursday, man. It's Thursday. We almost took Friday.
Last week of the year, man. It's been a wonderful season. We are finally here for the final act of the season. I can't wait, man.
I mean, hey, all I'm going to say is we talked about this from training camp all the way down, and we're down to them final two teams. We got them KC Chiefs coming in with Mr. Red himself, Andy Reid. And then we got the 90s heartthrob coming in with them Georgia Dogs from Philly. So it's about to...
I didn't know where you were going. The 90s heartthrob threw me all the way off. No one is referring to him to Jalen. Is that Jalen Hurts?
That's Jalen Hurts. That's the 90s heartthrob right there.
Okay.
Look,
all right.
Just give him the genuine curls back in the day. Let him get rid of that little fade and give him the little genuine curls. He'll fit right on in.
Okay. If you say so, E. Okay. I'm not gonna dispute you on this one.
But no, let's go ahead and jump right on in. Let's finish talking up some of these coaches' surprises because I think almost every position is legitimately filled besides assistants and some moving around like that. But all head coaching positions should be filled. And what was your biggest surprise that came out of some of these coaching changes?
Well, the biggest surprise to me probably was definitely whatever happened in Dallas, man, with Mr. Schottenheimer. That one, no, I didn't really see that one coming. I know it was going to be somebody who was probably going to be a yes man, if you will, to Jerry, but I didn't see Brian Schottenheimer's name early in the process. So surprised by that. My man who went ghost on Tampa Bay, Mr. Duval himself, Liam Cohen. Hey man, shout out to you. Hey, you got to go get your paper, man. Sometimes with new information, you know what I'm saying, you got to make new decisions. And, he had to get low for a minute, work out some things. Next thing you know, he was in Duval, man. And so, and got the job after Trent Baalke was dismissed. So,
yeah,
it worked out great for him. So, those were probably the two biggest surprises that I saw. What were some surprises what were some things that surprised you?
I'll be honest with you. Just finding out today that Ryan Nielsen, who we had as a DC, who was legitimately, the DC for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he's now a defensive assistant. So that's a pretty big, in my opinion, demotion from being a DC, and having to trust on two teams. So now you're a defensive assistant for that. And then also, it's still not shocking to me, but it's still shocking. I said that all the head coaching positions were filled. The New Orleans Saints are still looking for their head coach at this point in time. I think one of their candidates that they really want is Kellen Moore. So I think after the Super Bowl, they're going to interview him as well. So again, that's not going to be a shock if they hire him, to be honest with you. But yeah, that one, the Ryan Nielsen, just hearing that today, I'm like, wow, that's a nice little demotion there. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Jacksonville's defense wasn't too hot, but kind of what he did in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? I thought that at least give him a little bit of credibility, but they were like, nope, defensive assistant. So now he's more than likely got to work his way back up. But some of the coaching changes, no surprise. Pete Carroll being the Raiders head coach. I don't know if that was a Tom Brady move, or if that was just the best option for him, because I know he was itchy to get back to coaching. So I definitely am going to be paying attention to the Raiders next year. Even whoever they pick for their quarterback, I definitely want to see how Pete Carroll, even with a year away from actually coaching, away from that position, to see how he can come and make Raider Nations the Raiders. Because again, we all know the AFC West, who runs it. We all know.
Yes,
so
we do. Yes, we do.
We're gonna see that. We're gonna see that if the Raiders can somehow be competitive, like the Broncos do, and challenge the Chargers and even challenge the Chiefs, that division is gonna be eyes on it next season. So I can't wait.
Every year we say that, and then the Chiefs get out here and they 15-2, and really we looking at who playing for second and third place. Every year we say that division. It got better. Denver was better. The Chargers were better. But I mean, they were basically playing for second place, and KC was doing their thing. So again, maybe next year that they'll tighten up the race a little bit.
We'll see. I mean, I again, we used to say that about the NFC East. You know what I'm saying? Like, we knew Dallas was going to do something, but we didn't know what exactly all they were going to do. So you didn't know if it was going to be Dallas, the Eagles, the Commanders, or even the Giants. So again, I guess we can just say just the dominance that has run through for KC. Like you said, yeah, they'll be fighting, but somebody's going to come and take that spot sooner or later. We'll see. We'll see. Not saying it'll probably be now.
We'll see. Somebody just go out there and scratch them a little bit. At least punch them a little bit.
Scratch.
You know what I'm saying?
All we ask.
Something out there. Dang.
Cause they scratching back though. That's the problem.
Oh, they punching back. They shooting back. They killing all prey.
But okay, look, I'm just gonna say right now, if there is a three-peat, I am very cool with a lot of Kansas City Chiefs fans. If there are the three-peat, I'm just going to let y'all know they are not going to let y'all live that down. It will be a whole nother year of them saying that they three-peated, and they'll be the only ones in the NFL that have actually three-peated.
It's never happened.
Never been done.
If you make history, man, that definitely gives you a permit, a license to kind of gloat a little bit. So, we're gonna talk about the game in a minute, but I'm still kind of torn on which way I'm going. But yeah, this is gonna be a very, 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 very entertaining weekend.
Yeah, we're gonna dive in. So let's talk about this Myles Garrett sweepstakes that is about to consume the off season. Now, we did start off in the beginning of the season, if I can remember correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, CHen. We were giving the Browns a little bit of props. They were getting Nick Chubb back, Deshaun, to see if we can get the Deshaun that we saw in Houston. We liked what the team was looking like on defense, on offense. And then something happened to where we did not get exactly what we were dreaming about, and even dreaming about with that North, how competitive that it was possibly going to be. Deshaun Watson basically not once, but twice tore his Achilles. Not sure how that happened, but he tore his Achilles again.
The massage regimen is not the same. The muscles is loose. Everything is not the same. We haven't seen that old Deshaun since that old regimen. That's all I'm gonna say. But I'm just saying, things have changed.
Things have changed. The Browns did reconstruct his contract over there as well, and all I'm gonna say is Myles Garrett has said, "I've had it," and he said, "Trade me." So now let's get into here, because I'm not going to say they have a salary cap issue, but with the numbers that they did, it kind of brought it down just a little bit by changing his contract. But what does this really mean for a Brown organization? Are they back to the original Browns that we knew them as? Or how does this really affect them in sense of your best player on your team is I'm out of here.
Well, best player on the team asking out. It's my understanding that he does have I think 2 more years on his deal.
Mm-hmm.
I think roughly 20 million per, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if there's any more guaranteed dollars on there, or very little guaranteed dollars on there. So he's kind of looking for an extension as well. I don't know if this is a contract ploy, but he said that he's putting a premium on winning. He didn't want to just come out here and lose and go to Canton. So with that being said, what does that mean to the Browns? Hey, they're saying right now they're standing 10 toes down that he's not available, and he won't be traded. But again, if he is for real and the standing 10 toes down on that he wants to play for a winner, then I think that they're going to be ultimately forced to move him and go further into a rebuild. There's been some talk. We talked about Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun Watson. He has since suffered another injury. There's been some questions about, did he do this outside of training or outside of what they would deem football activities. There's been some
Activities,
talk
yeah.
about them possibly trying to revoke the rest of his contract or trying to get out of his contract. So they're in a real sticky situation. A lot of folks are free agents. Again, your best players acting out. Denzel Ward is also axed from what reportedly, allegedly is axed out as well. So they're going to be in a rebuild. And the good thing about this is that I think a player like Denzel Ward, a player like Garrett, I'm going to say Garrett Wilson, Myles Garrett, gives them a chance to recoup a lot of draft capital to kind of jumpstart that rebuild. I think Myles Garrett is going to go for a minimum of 2, probably 3 or 4 draft picks, depending on what they are. Some folks have said it might take 2 first-round picks. I don't know if it's going to take that per se, but I think it's going to take a minimum of one first, 1 second-round pick, and maybe some additional compensation. So he's going to be a nice jump start. You can give Cleveland a chance to get a nice jump start to their rebuild. Well, I don't want to say a jump start in the rebuild. They've been in the rebuild for a while, but give us some added pieces, some added things to kind of deal with, to kind of build up that talent back there in Cleveland. Because, like you said, Nick Chubb wasn't quite what we thought he was going to be. Watson wasn't.
And then he broke his foot.
Yep. You know what I mean? And he's, getting a little bit longer in the tooth in terms of football years. So will he be able to come back and be, the player that he once was? I don't know, man. But I know there's a lot of folks who want the services of Myles Garrett. Definitely those in Detroit. I was eager to hear what DT had to say, because I know that definitely the Commanders have some interest. They have some money there. And I think, teams like Philly, they're Howie Roseman is always trying to, do what he can do to keep that team in contention. Brandon Graham is kind of on the last leg of his career. I believe Josh Sweat is a free agent. So they have a need at defensive end, and they are a winning franchise. So, I don't know if will Cleveland, trade them to somebody? Definitely probably not in the division, but if they trade them to somebody in the AFC, I don't know. Buffalo may come calling. There's been some talk about, I think Khalil Mack is a free agent. There's been some talk about Joey Bosa possibly being a cap casualty. So maybe, the Chargers come calling. So he's got, I think, a large, robust market, if you will. And a lot of folks
probably have
Atlanta.
to leave.
Atlanta may want him over there.
We ain't got no money. We ain't got no money, let alone we ain't got no picks. So X-nay that one. We'll be giving away future 2027, 2028 picks on this one.
Y'all got. Hey, that's that Kurt Cobain's effect.
Yeah, like look, we ain't there. We ain't there right now. But to break down his contract, so you did mention that. Myles Garrett will be 30, or if he already turned 30, not sure when his birthday is, but shout out to that. Oh, also, I just want to say this because he is actually one of my old high school's rivalry, which they were supposed to be the top in our school district while we were right there at second. So I just want to say, I hate Arlington Martin. Bump Arlington Martin, but thank you for Myles Garrett in the NFL.
That's old school. That's old school, high school hate right there.
Yeah, go Bowie.
I want just remember. I want y'all just don't not remember. I mean, just don't forget. Hate y'all. I hope y'all don't. I don't hope y'all don't prosper.
Exactly.
But, hey, God bless. Myles Garrett.
Exactly. Thank you for this man. But I hope y'all don't prosper. I hope y'all grades slip. I hope everything happens. I hope everything. Like it's still
Man,
hate.
man,
It is
what a
still
rivalry.
hate. Yeah, very. But he does have a void year, which he will become an unrestricted free agent in 2027. There is a optional bonus of basically 18.5 mil on the fifth league day of 2025. So if they want to move him, I suggest you move him before the fifth. If not, they're gonna have to be tied down with that. So again, and then in 2026, he has a 23.7 mil optional bonus as well. So, yeah. Like you said, there's no more fully guaranteed money, but there's still bonus money.
So 18
So,
and 23, what's that? 40, about $42 million. So that's
exactly.
that's 20 million a year. And again, though,
Exactly.
will he play without guarantees? Again, that's where it's going to come in at. If you're giving up a couple of different 3 or 4 draft picks, in theory, you're probably going to try to extend them for at least a couple of years. So
Yes.
yeah, man, I'm eager to see where he lands. I'm hearing, Brad may have a little bit of interest, and I would love to see him here. Brad hasn't done anything of that ilk in the free agency or during the trade, so it would be mildly surprising. But again, maybe we're at that point now where we can, give up 1 or 2 picks and possibly get a playmaker of that caliber opposite of Hutchinson. So, and again, I know other teams are interested. Philly,
I mean,
Washington.
we see one right now. Myles Garrett to Chocolate City. Shout out to our own DT. He
DT,
is
DT.
busy tonight, but we miss you, brother. We miss you. Shout out to South as well. He's saying even to send Myles Garrett to DC. I mean, hey, again, if y'all got the money, go ahead. I know Atlanta out of it. The real Chocolate City, we out of it. I'm just gonna throw that in there just a little bit. Oh, that in there just a little bit. But while we're talking about off season, because that's going to be our next topic anyway, who else do you feel like? What do you feel about the crop of guys that are coming up as free agents, but let alone there, like you said, there's some trouble in paradise on some of the teams where it might be a cap casualty, where they might get cut. Like, what are you kind of seeing with this market of free agents that you know of? Like, it doesn't matter the position, but just like kind of what you know of what you see.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I haven't really delved too much into it as of yet, man. I've just been trying to just enjoy this season. But I do want to see what happens at the top of the pass rushing situation. You definitely have a Myles Garrett type, but you also have a Khalil Mack who may be out here as well. Um, uh, Hendrickson from Cincinnati. I don't know
Okay.
if he's a free agent or not, or if they're looking at possibly trading him. But you're definitely looking at that situation for me. Those are the most important things in my eyes. Looking at that pass rush, but also
Yep.
again, people talk about Cooper Kupp possibly being out here, on the market or a
Yep.
trade target. That's interesting. He looked a little bit over the hill last year. I don't know. Him and Stafford had normally had a great rapport. So I don't know if he's totally washed or not, but if he lands in the right situation, I think, and used correctly, I think he can be a very, 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 very solid weapon for somebody. So just kind of
Yeah.
watching the whole landscape, man, and see how it just, how it evolves over the off season.
Oh yeah. Same thing with us. I'm not sure how they're gonna approach it. I know for a fact defense, we need all positions. I'm just gonna say that and be real with you. But most importantly, like you said, that pass rush, edge, probably another D lineman, need another corner, another linebacker, all of it. Safety too.
Yeah.
All of it.
Are y'all hoping somebody sees some value in Mr. Pitts and takes him off your hands?
To be honest with you, Penix actually came out and made a comment about that he is willing to work with Pitts and he really wants to get him the ball. So I'm not sure, but if that's a way for us to be better on defenses, we have to kind of give him away for trades or anything and stuff like that. Then I'm perfectly fine with it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not 100% sure. He is a major question mark when it comes down to it, if we're going to keep him or not. Because I think they already picked up his 5th-year option, if I'm not mistaken. So it will really be try to possibly redo his contract before the beginning of the season to try to make room for anybody else if they feel the need to do it. DT basically said, interested to see how the wide receiver market, if Higgins goes back to Cincy, Chris Godwin leaving Tampa, Christian Kirk and Debo heading elsewhere, Garrett Wilson. I honestly was going to talk about that too, because at the top of the free agent list that I am looking at, T. Higgins is the one of the most sought after wide receivers. And I know, DT, if he was here, but his Commanders have probably a little bit of high interest in that to go on the opposite side of, Scary Terry. So, what do you think about the wide receiver market? Because again, you got I mean, the names that he just named off, these are something, these are not no teeny tiny names. These are some big dudes. These are some big
Yeah,
important cats on their team.
yeah, and you could throw Stephon Diggs in that mix as
Yeah.
well. Um, Interesting group. I think T. Higgins is going to probably, be the guy who's kind of sets the pace. But again, you got some questions about him because he always misses 2 or 3 games. And, I think people kind of project him as a wide receiver one in this league. And I think he can function in that role. But I don't know how good of a wide receiver one is he, because he's played along with, Jamar Chase, and he's played with a great quarterback. Um, to speak on also on that point, I think Joe Burrow is applying a little bit of pressure to Cincinnati. They've been talking about him down on Radio Row, talking about how he wants them to really, really step up to the plate and kind of keep that core together.
Or together. Yeah.
Kind of hard to see, and kind of hard to see, them keeping everybody together when you making money, Chase making money. I'm sorry, yeah, Jamar Chase wants to get paid, T wants to get paid, Henderson wants to get paid. So, will that lead to Burrow being unhappy and kind of forcing his way out of Cincinnati just to kind of keep our eyes on something down the road? But Chris Godwin, a great wide receiver, a veteran in this league who can play inside as well as outside, but he's coming off a knee injury, a little bit longer in the tooth. How does he come back? Christian Kirk reset the wide receiver market a couple years ago, but he's coming off an injury. Debo has been kind of down. Stephon Diggs is becoming off an injury. Garrett Wilson, in my opinion, is one of the most interesting ones because to me, he does have that wide receiver one potential, high-end wide receiver one, top 20 potential, but he's playing alongside of Devontae Adams right now, who I think is a great player. And, the quarterback over there just really has a love affair, if you will, what I'm saying, with Devontae, and is not really allowing Garrett to kind of spread his wings. So to me, Garrett is probably the most attractive on there because he's young. He does probably offer the most upside. He may have a somewhat suppressed value because he hasn't really had that chance to explode with the Jets.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw one more name out there. You got Amari Cooper as well with the Buffalo Bills.
Damn,
You also have. I'm trying to see because my thing wanted to reset, but you got to talk about Amari Cooper and throw Amari Cooper in there. You know what I'm saying, from the Buffalo Bills. Are they gonna do it? You got Darius Slayton too. We're not gonna really talk about Darius Slayton, but you also got Hollywood Brown. You got him too. As Marquise Brown. You got him too. So again, the wide receiver market is looking pretty hefty because again, you got a couple of people. Amari Cooper did what he needed to do over there. Gave Josh a solid weapon over there. Not sure if he was utilized where he needed to be, but again, he did what he needed to do to kind of help the Bills do what they needed to do as well. So I mean, this is an interesting wide receiver market.
And I will say this: wide receivers are starting to look like the running back position, where the longevity is a little bit longer, but you can find good wide receivers in the draft.
Yep.
You talk about guys like Neighbors, you talk about guys like BTJ in Jacksonville. You can find players in the draft. So some of these guys who start to get a little bit longer in the tooth, maybe from a few of these injuries, we kind of see them. I don't want to say pushed out the door, but kind of pushed to the side and let some of these younger guys,
come in.
It's much more of a passing game, much more of a passing league, and we've seen that kind of translate all the way down to even little league football. So these guys are coming in much more advanced and much more ready to play. So I'm eager to see what happens with the free agent class. But I'm also eager to see what teams kind of, say, you know what, we're going to wait and go to the draft because there's a bunch of talented wide receivers in this draft as well. So
Yeah. So I'm gonna flip over really quick and go to the quarterback position because we got
okay.
a quarterback doozy that's happening in Pittsburgh with both Russell Wilson and Justin Fields coming up as
Oh,
well. So you got those two, and then don't forget Sam Darnold is out there as well with the Minnesota Vikings. So are they
so
going to?
it's a lot of midness in that quarterback stuff. It's a lot of mid bridge type, you know what I'm saying? They battling to be somebody's bridge quarterback, you know what I mean?
But I mean, they are. But let's be real here. You got Sam Darnold who had a season that we didn't think that he was going to have. Let's be real. We didn't think Sam Darnold was going to do what he needed to do. We thought that was going to be JJ's team, and JJ was going to come in and be the starting quarterback, and Sam was just going to be the backup quarterback. But we didn't expect him to have that team. One question: this is a quarterback within your division. Do you think that Minnesota will actually give the team and give the rings back to JJ and let him do it, even though he's coming off an injury? Or do you think they'll just go ahead and keep Sam Darnold for that extra insurance if JJ still is not where he needs to be?
So I think it's going to all come down to the cost.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the extent of JJ's injury and what his rehab is looking like, but I think that when you draft somebody that high, you're pretty invested in them. The question about Sam Darnold is, can he do it again? And does he
Okay.
have a real market? You know what I mean? Right now, just from my eyeballs, I mean, he looked great last year, but at times, and especially the last time I really saw him up close, he was self-destructing against the Lions defense that was totally decimated. Can he do it again? You know what I'm saying? Was this a fluke? He has these moments in time where he flashes and looks like, you know what I'm saying, that potentially that number one pick that was, he was years ago, but can he do it again? And the next thing is, how much do you pay him? Do you pay him?
Yeah.
To me, it looks like, that Baker money, that 25 to 35 million dollars is probably a soft spot for me. But again, if someone is willing to give him 35 to 40 million dollars and give him some incentives, I mean, hey, you gotta take that, right? I mean, but
I,
who's gonna pay him, man?
I'm gonna tell you right now. They're giving his market value, quotation marks, market value 4 years, 160.4 million.
See, do you want to pay who's signing up for 4 years though? Who's signing up for 4 years of Sam Darnold at 160? That's $40 million a year. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm going
again.
2 years. I'm going 2 years max, 650 million. And that ain't even and that's because it ain't my money. That's the only
But no, I mean,
reason. If it was
again,
my
I do
money,
agree.
if it was my money, hey, what Mariota get? What Mariota give him 2 times what Mariota get? That's what we
I mean, again, I completely agree with you. Can he do it again? But there is going to be a quarterback needy team who is not up to be able to get some of these quarterbacks. And we already heard that a lot of scouts and a lot of people are very iffy on these quarterbacks that are coming out of this draft class. So if they feel like they can get a vet to come in like a Sam Darnold, I'm not going to sit over and say that they're not going to pay for him, especially if
I
they're
mean,
trying to
but
jack him away from Minnesota.
even with that being said, I need a quarterback, right? And I'm
Yeah.
not enamored with this class. You know what I'm saying? And so I haven't done a ton of research on these quarterbacks, but I think it's some guys who are going to be on day 2, day 3 guys who
Mm-hmm.
could be competent NFL quarterbacks. They may not, blow, you know what I'm saying, be the next Jalen Hurts or Patrick Mahomes or what have you.
Yeah.
But I think somebody can come out of here and be Brock Purdy. I think somebody can be Geno, you know what I'm saying, Geno
Yeah.
Smith. I think somebody can be, and I shouldn't say this because he played he had a great season this year, but somebody can come out and be Baker Mayfield. Somebody can be
Yeah.
Jared Goff. I don't know if it's going to be 4 guys that can do it, but 1 or 2 of these guys
You guys
come
can
out
do
here
it.
and
Yeah.
be one of these other guys. So, but you tell me, after this season, would you rather have Sam Darnold in a different system? Because I don't know if he's going to be in Minnesota. But Sam Darnold in a different system, or Jameis Winston in a different system as your bridge starter?
mean, Mr. 30 for 30 didn't look too hot playing with the Browns. He did have a good, and I'm not going to say that because, to be honest with you, he looked better to me in New Orleans than he did, honestly, with the Browns.
But mind you, one gonna cost you 40 million, one gonna probably cost you 15, 20, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't even know what James got last year. But to me, like I don't know. I mean, Darnold looked good, and again, he's in a great system. We got to give a shout out to not Stefanski, Kevin O'Connell.
Mm-hmm.
We got to give a shout. I mean, he playing with JJ, he playing with Addison, he playing with Hawkinson. I mean,
Yep.
4 years, 1/6. Oh, that's tough.
He said that's tough. So
That's what God got for him.
Let me go there. The other two quarterbacks. Like I said, you got Justin Fields, who's coming, who's out. Because again, both of them signed a 1-year deal to be with Pittsburgh. So you got Justin Fields, whose market value is actually, give me 2 seconds, 1 year, $6.4 million. But then you got Russell Wilson, who got market value is 2 years, $77.4 million.
So before we even get to them two, give me both of them two over at their numbers over Sam Darnold at 40 million. Give me Russell, who done won some Super Bowl, who looked okay last year. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the the disconnect was. Was it the Arthur Smith offense? Was it the lack of receiving threats for Pittsburgh? I don't know, but give me either one of those guys at $6 million for Justin Fields. That's the only reason they're gonna probably even keep him around in Pittsburgh. They could probably get him easily for 15. We over double your money, give you a little extras, and we'll give you a shot to start here. I mean,
and remind you, Russell Wilson is 36 years old. Remind you that. Remind you. And then you got Justin Fields, who's only 25. Sam Darnold, he should be around the same age.
What's Jameis? What's Jameis worth? What on your little hooker? Look up Jameis on.
Oh, Jameis ain't on here. It's only the top 50. He ain't making.
oh, dang.
And be honest with you, right now.
Getting back to your point, is Pittsburgh entertaining bringing one of those guys back, both of those guys back?
I'll be honest with you, where they're falling down right now on the draft, I will honestly bring one of them back, at least bring one of them back, because at this point, I'll be honest with you, going back to Jameis, I don't think the Browns can afford, because again, I mean they're in the top, but I mean, you already got DTR over there. He's not doing well. He's not prospering. And then I don't really think the way they kind of did Jameis anyway made him like the third emergency type quarterback when he was out there doing it just because he had a bad game. I mean, I don't know how much they like him in the Brown system. So, again, they already got a lot of things that they got to think about anyway, but again, this quarterback class is good, but hearing rumors, Tennessee wants Shador. If anything, then Cam will go where he needs to be. So I forgot who's number 2. I forgot who's number 2 with after them. Is it the Giants?
I believe so. Let me.
Then if the Giants is probably more than likely gonna go after Cam. You got Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers is out there. As well, which I don't see him being first round worthy unless somebody is that desperate to pick him up.
Actually, Cleveland.
Well, I mean,
Tennessee,
if they
Cleveland,
won't,
and the Giants.
So yeah, it's gonna be a battle then. That's the case, because I mean, I really think it's like Shador, then Cam, and then y'all argue with your mama. I'm just going off the top of my head of what I seen, but I think it's Shador, Cam, and then if anything, I think it's Quinn, if I'm not mistaken. That those are like the top 3 that people are saying, because it would have been Carson, but he decided that he's gonna go back to Miami.
I think Quinn and Dart are going to be, and one of those guys always get elevated. Maybe both of them get elevated I think those are
Well,
going to be
Dart
the next.
didn't look good. He didn't look good in the Senior Bowl.
You know how it is, man. We got a couple months. He make a couple little outstanding throws and some shorts, in a indoor facility somewhere with no defenders, and he'll go right up the draft board. You know what I'm saying? Be Zach Wilson #2. You know what I mean? So yeah, we just give it some time. Just give it some time.
Yeah,
You
see,
know?
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up now. So again, like I said, I'm going to top of my head. So some people have Cam Ward, then Shador, then Jalen Milroe. Even though he didn't look too good at the Senior
Forgot about
Bowl
Jalen
either.
Milroe.
Like you said, Jackson Dart. You got Kyle McCord, Quinn
Mm-hmm.
Ewers, Will Howard, Dylan Gabriel. Which for me, Dylan Gabriel actually looks like that day two type quarterback. Just
Mm-hmm.
saying.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got Curtis Rook, and then you got Riley Leonard.
Yeah, I think after those first 4 or 5 names, maybe you're going to find maybe one or two, pros after that. But I think after those first 4 or 5 names, it's kind of it's kind of that's why some of these guys like Sam Darnold are getting the attention that they're getting, because we have about 6 or 7 QB needy teams, and really only 2 or 3 of these guys are really considered top notch guys. Again, Quinn Ewers or Jackson Dart or Milroe, one of those, or 1, 2, or 3 of those guys are going to be elevated just because of their athleticism, just because someone is going to say, hey, we need a quarterback and we believe in you. But we know that there's going to be a couple of guys who kind of are not going to live up to their billing and kind of fall a little bit short. So we'll see how
Well,
it
I mean,
goes.
and we'll see. We'll definitely see, because again, we know the Raiders needs a quarterback. DT said Cam Ward #1, Shador #2, everyone else.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with him. I'm fun. It's funny on that Cam Ward. I think people are going to kind of knock him because of his size. I think what is he, 5'11", 6 feet. We haven't seen someone like that since kind of like Kyler.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if they knock him on that. We'll see though. We'll see though.
DT, that's a very strong statement you just made.
Yeah, Gabriel's kind of nice.
He can ball. Gabriel can ball.
He
I can give
he's
him
not. He
that.
may not have the biggest arm or be the most physically gifted guy, but he can play football, and he makes plays. He makes plays.
We'll see. That I like. Matter of fact, we'll come back to that. We're gonna make sure y'all take a screenshot. We're gonna come back to that, because I do want to see that, because I do feel like he'll be a steal if he doesn't go in the first round. Definitely a day two guy that if you give him the opportunity, he can probably do something. You know what I mean? Especially just depending on what the run is in the draft. So yeah, that's true. Gotta go to the right system. But what can we say will be the right system for him? Because again, I knock Bo Nix being over there in the Broncos, but the type of QB that Sean Payton likes is a Bo Nix is type QB, and we seen what he can do. So it
I
was.
think I think I think a quick hitting West Coast style type offense where he's not asked to do too much throwing down the
Mhm.
field too many times, kind of a controlled short to intermediate passing game where he can possibly use his feet, use the bootleg action, move the pocket a little bit to kind of fit him, what I'm saying, very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, that would probably be the 49ers or possibly even Seattle.
We'll see. We'll see, man. Hey,
We'll
we might have
see.
a spot for him. We might be, Hendon Hooker. I don't know, man. What I'm saying?
Y'all
Bridgewater
really
came
ain't
up there.
y'all really ain't giving that man really an opportunity, to be honest with you.
Hey,
Golf
listen,
got that on
man.
lock.
Before we even talk about that, Bridgewater came straight up off the streets, coaching the high school football team, hadn't been with us in weeks, months, came in and was the #2 quarterback. So played in a playoff game when golf went down. So that tells me a lot. Somebody isn't really, where they need to be. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Somebody just quickly unseat you like that. I don't know. And they've been talking about, him involved in some of these trade talks. So we'll see how it goes, man. I know people are saying that, opportunity this, opportunity that, but I'm from the old school, man. You got to earn your way on the field, man. You got to beat somebody out, man. You got to beat
Completely
somebody out, man.
agree. Completely agree. So we're gonna talk more about this and dive more into this next week, y'all. especially when DT does come back, so we can really, because this is his favorite time of the year, let alone seeing Henry's favorite time of the year, is really diving into these prospects and really getting an idea of who these guys coming in for the draft. So we're going to dip in more into this and talk more about these QBs, wide receivers, even because I think this is a defense heavy class as well. So we're definitely going to dive right into that next week. But let's go ahead and move on to the Super
Super Bowl.
Bowl. The Super Bowl. So
We
we
here,
got
man.
we finally here. We got the two teams after all this year of battling. We got them Kansas City Chiefs. I ain't gonna do their little things, but shout out to my Chiefs fans, and I do have Philly fans. So shout out to them Philly fans because we got them. I'm gonna call them New England Phillies. That is crazy. Y'all don't sue me. But we got the Philadelphia Eagles coming in and call. They're coming in, getting what they need to do. This is a rematch. A lot of people didn't want to see this rematch, but this rematch has technically been brewing since, KC kind of snatched Jalen Hurts' chain and said, try again.
Snatched his chain.
Smash that chain because Jalen Hurts and them were very confident that they was going to walk away as the champs against KC. KC said, nah, snatch that chain right back from him. So, again, what do you think? Do you think this can be the Eagles' get right game? Do you think that they probably looked at the old film of this Super Bowl to see what they did wrong to try to correct it? Like, how do you think the Philadelphia Eagles are actually coming for this rematch?
I hope everyone's healthy. I'm hearing about, a little bug or something that's going around there at the team right now. But I mean, first and foremost, man, listen, I told y'all, every week, man, the 22-week drama. And these two teams, man, have battled it out, and they are the last two teams standing, and deservedly so, man. I look at both of these teams. KC seems to be the best in the AFC, no doubt. Philadelphia, you look at that roster, they definitely look like they're the best in the NFC. I don't think there's no mistakes here. I think both of these teams earned the right to be here. And I think we're going to see a historic Super Bowl like we saw a couple years ago when these two teams battled out. We got two great quarterbacks. We got, a lot of offensive firepower, especially with Philadelphia. You add a Saquon to the mix, makes them, extremely more explosive. Defensively, I think that they're coming here a better team than they were a couple of years ago. Now, they're a little bit younger. They're leaning on a lot of these young dogs, as you call them, your young Georgia dogs and some other guys out here. But defensively, I think they are a better team than what they were a couple of years ago. You look at Kansas City, you got, Patty the Great, going for a legacy, going for 3 in a row. The team is playing for 3 in a row, not just Patty, but I think that's going to have a great effect on his legacy here. He wins this, he's definitely going to be in a strong conversation with, the GOATs, of the quarterback position. Again, and Philadelphia comes in here with a strong team. Receiver-wise, I think that they're a lot better. The numbers may not bear, but when you add, Hollywood Brown, a healthy Hollywood Brown, a healthy DeAndre Hopkins to the mix, what I'm saying? These are upgrades over was it my man Sky Moore and whoever else was out there, what I'm saying? So they're better on that, that side of the football. I think, Kareem Hunt gives them a different feel, in the run game to go along with Pacheco. So, they're strong there. And then we know Spags and Chris Jones and those guys on the defensive side of the ball are very, very strong. So going to be a great game. Over under 49 points. So we expect to see some points in this game. Spread is at 1 point, man. 1 point. So, I mean.
It just changed. Yep.
This is going to be an epic battle, and we need this. The country needs this. The world needs this. A lot of bad stuff going on. We need an afternoon where we can just zone in to something and enjoy something and collectively come together for just a couple of hours. Put aside some differences, have some snacks, have some libations.
Differences because you forgot who the halftime entertainment is.
Hey, I ain't got no problem with Kendrick, Drake. I ain't choosing no side. I'm listening to everybody's music. I ain't choosing no side. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no problem with either one. OVO, TDE, you know what I'm saying? I don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm
yeah,
just,
it's
I
gonna
was
be
like,
a
you
good
said we're
time.
coming together. Like, hold on. You forgot. Like, wait a minute. You forgot a diss track just won freaking 5 Grammys.
Man, listen,
5.
man, listen. Ain't
So
nobody worried about it. Everybody gonna be still watching, eating a little crab dip, hot wings, pizza, whatever it is. You know what I'm
shout
saying?
out to New Orleans because it's Mardi Gras. They're gonna have a crawfish, they gumbo,
Yeah,
all of that good stuff.
yeah,
You know,
beignets, all
so
that, all that.
yeah, so again, but no, I do agree. I do think that this team is a little bit different um than what they were as far as Philly. Again, yes, they did add the Georgia Bulldogs. I mean, hopefully Jalen Carter can play because he's one of the people that's on that report of being sick and the little bug that's going around. He just hasn't been able to practice this week. And then again, just I mean, I know they lost N'Kobe Dean too as well for the remainder of the season. That was another hard hitter that they were relying on. But again, the defense is still there. My question is going to be: can Jalen Hurts not make those mistakes, not make critical mistakes? Again, I'm not saying he's a bad QB. I'm not saying that. It's just again, we all have seen it. Same thing with Josh Allen. Same thing with Lamar Jackson. Those critical turnovers at the wrong time can always come back and bite you. And one thing that KC lives off of is those turnovers. Again, they got a better wide receiving core. They brought Juju back. They got, like you said, Kareem Hunt gives them a little bit more of a change of pace between Pacheco and him, so it gives them a little bit more of a dynamic in it. You still got Patty Holmes back there that can run the ball, but more importantly, again, that defense. Chris Jones, star of the defense. How much of an impact can he make when it comes down to Jalen Hurts on there? So again, it just depends on how you're looking at it and everything. And again, the spread is 1 point.
Yep.
Hold on. DT said, does Jalen have to replicate his Super Bowl form to win against Mahomes? The trenches and the turnovers are going to matter in this game. Exactly. Again, if we're looking at the key dynamics of this, one of those keys is definitely going to be Jalen Hurts. It's definitely going to be, can he minimize those turnovers and not make them in critical moments? So that's going to be one on them, and then it's going to be can Kansas. I mean, they won without wide receivers, so I don't really want to put it on the wide receivers, but can the defense, in my opinion, can the defense cause the havoc to force Jalen to make those turnovers?
To DT's question, I think that yes and no. Does he have to replicate the performance? Does he have to put up over 300 yards? And I think he had over like 70, 80 yards rushing. I don't think he has to put up 400 total yards of offense. Not with Saquon there, not with AJ, not with
Mm-hmm.
and Devontae, but he has to be efficient. He did make a critical turnover in that game. You know what I mean? So he has to be efficient. You know what I mean? So he may not have to put up the same numbers, but he has to be efficient and he has to be careful with the football. He can't turn the ball over. And again, I think my rooting interest is I see this game as being so close. My rooting interest, I don't know if I want to see Jalen win. You know what I'm saying? We got to give him some props. He's been to the Super Bowl 2 times in 4 or 5 years as a starter.
Yep.
I think there's something to be said about that. We can talk about his team carrying him, if you will, but it's a lot of quarterbacks who've been carried by their team and ain't been carried so far. So I think it is something that, it is something to him and what he brings to that team, whether it's the mental toughness, the physical toughness. I think he has an it factor that so far, we need to recognize. And he has gone toe to toe with Mahomes. If we're going to give guys like, well, I guess Burrow, he beat him. But if we talking about, the performances that Josh Allen has done and Lamar has done at times, well, this guy went head to head with this guy and, he lost a tough one. But let's see what happens, now. Again, fully loaded, defense better. He has all the offensive tools over there for him. it's no excuses. There's no excuses for Philly if they lose this football game. Hopefully, we have a game that is not decided by the refs. And again,
Exactly.
if Kansas City wins this game and they do three-peat, I'm okay with seeing history. You know what I'm saying? I'm an OG. Unk. I don't know what. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I guess on a scale, I'm an unk now. You know what I'm saying? But I've had the pleasure of seeing, Larry Bird. I've had the pleasure of seeing Jordan. I had the pleasure of seeing Magic and Isaiah, some of these other greats, Barry Sanders. So if I'm witnessing greatness, which I think I am with Pat Mahomes, and it's the destiny to win the three-peat. It is what it is. But I'm just ready to see a great game, man, for real, because a lot of legacy is on the line in this game. Two African American quarterbacks. That's always a beauty to see playing on the big stage.
No, exactly. I mean, DT said he can't sit at Cancun watching those turkeys win. Give me history, give me three-peat. Y'all know DT does not want to see somebody come out of the NFC East a winner
Stop
besides
that
his
hate.
Commanders.
Stop that hate.
Besides his Commanders. But no, I mean, I definitely agree with you again. Kansas didn't look so hot during the season. I mean, on paper, we saw what they look like on paper, and we saw what they look like on film. But again, the winning and everything just kept showing totally different. So again, DC is very battle tested. They're coming in again, being in their third Super Bowl in a row. So they're very battle tested. And again, shout out to Jalen Hurts. I mean, what was it? Just 3 years ago he was in this position. Now he's right back in this position again. So it's, again, I commend the Eagles. They knew what they wanted to do. They knew how they wanted to approach this. They went out there and got them some Georgia dolls. They went out there and bolstered up and got them some talent. They took Saquon from the Giants to give them that burst at running back. So again, it will be nice to see the Eagles win to let Jalen get him one, but I'm kind of with DT. I want to see history too. I want to be able to tell my kids later on, even though y'all know I got a son, but just because I have more kids, I want to be able to tell them later on down the line, I witnessed the only three-peat in NFL history. So I want to do that.
Do you think the Chiefs defensively would be able, to corral or contain, if you will, Saquon Barkley in this game? What do you think could be his role in
That's
this game?
going to be a challenge. That's why I said it. No, and that's kind of why I said the defense is going to be that one for me. Is going to be that X factor, because can the defense make Jalen, like, force him into the turnovers, but can y'all stop Saquon? Can y'all do that? That will be that. So I feel like the defense will be the X factor up again for Saquon, because again, we seen what Saquon can do. Okay, like, we seen what he can do. He's been doing it all season. So again, if they can legitimately stop that run, and stop that run game and force them over, then yeah, you know what I mean. But if they get caught on their heels, especially with Saquon or even with Jalen taking the ball off and running it, then like you said, we're gonna be in for a very good game. That 1 point might be looking real good at this point.
Real good. I'm trying to put some different parlays together. You know what I'm saying, myself. I don't know if it's going to be over or under, because again, we're talking about Philadelphia with the number one ranked defense in this game.
Yep.
Kansas City is strong defense as well. I can see this game possibly coming under, and it's 49 points, so that's a lot of points. I can see the game being a 27-21, a 24-23 game, 24-20 ball game. But I also can see an offensive explosion, you know what I'm saying, if you will. Saquon make a couple long runs. Mahomes make a couple plays with his feet or his arm, and it can be very well be a 39-31 game. So again, I don't know what to expect. It's coming down to the wire, man. We got to make a pick, I guess. So we got to make a pick.
Yeah, we got to make a pick. We got to make a pick. Who you going with, Hen? Who you going with?
Man, you know what I'm saying? Brandon Graham, man, from Detroit. This is like his last go round. A Michigan boy. Saquon, I would like to see him win one. I think that'll be a perfect fitting ending to a wonderful season for him. The Giants fans should be looking like, in just total disbelief and just like, man, damn, man, why you couldn't do this here, man, with us? And then again, we got Patrick Mahomes playing for his legacy 3 in a row, possibly being named the GOAT. And then we got Jalen, who's been knocking at the door, man. Listen, man. I'm gonna Philly, man. Can y'all do it, man? Can y'all do it for the gritty cities, man? Can y'all do it for the gritty brown cities in America? You know what I'm saying? Can we win something democratically? Can we win? Come on, Philly. I'm counting on you. I'm putting 60% of my money on you. That I'm gonna bet. I'm gonna put 60% on you, and I'm gonna hedge the other 40% on some other parlays in Kansas City just to make sure I make a little money, don't lose all the house on this thing. But I'm going Philadelphia, man. Philadelphia 27-23, and I guess that's an over. I guess it's now at 48 and a half. You know what I'm saying? But if y'all can, man, buy y'all some points, man. Buy y'all some points. Buy y'all some points. Go buy it up. Maybe get it to 52. I got one at 52. So you know what I'm saying.
I'm just gonna say this. Commanders are in Aruba. They're not in Cancun. I'm just gonna say this. My Falcons are in the Maldives. So we bougie over here, baby. Do you hear me? But no, I'm gonna go. Like I love my Philly dogs. I love my Georgia boys. I really do. They came from a championship winning program, broke the curse with a lot of them to well, I ain't gonna say curse, but broke the drought of us not winning our national championship. A lot of them were literally on that team for that, and even the next team going for the back-to-back. Shout out to Jalen and Nolan, even though Nolan was hurt. But again, it's hard to bet against the Chiefs. And then plus, I have a strong love for Andy Reid, and I really think Philly did Andy Reid wrong. So I'm gonna go with Red over here.
Okay.
With Big Red, going with Big Red. But like I said, I love my Georgia dogs. If they do win one, I love that for them. You know, not only did they get a ring in college, they turned around and got one of the biggest rings over there. So shout out to them boys for real, for real. Even with Jalen, he got him at Alabama. He's used to winning. He can get this one. He can start that legacy with himself too. So I commend the Eagles as well, but I don't like the way y'all did my Andy Reid. I don't like the way y'all did Big Red. So I'm gonna go over here and go chill with Big Red. Okay?
You know, well, Big Red ain't do nothing but just lose over there. He ain't just do nothing but lose over there. I mean, what we
and now he winning.
I mean, you know, what we supposed to? He got him at home. But I'm gonna tell you right now, I think some of the key factors to the game. We didn't talk about the game. You know, let me jump in here real quick. The secondary, can young Cooper DeJean, and old Darius Slay, can those guys make plays against savvy receivers like DeAndre Hopkins, Juju Smith-Schuster, and a healthy Hollywood Brown? Can they keep up with those guys in the passing game?
Don't forget Xavier Worthy.
Oh yeah, and Xavier Worthy. Yeah, Xavier Worthy. Man, yes sir. And also, can Zach Bond contain Travis Kelce in this game, man? He's slowing down a little bit, but he is still Mahomes' favorite safety blanket. So you got to, definitely contain him in this game. But I'm looking forward to a great game, man. Great game, man. Great time.
It's definitely going to be a great game with them and everything. Like I said, I can't wait for the halftime performance. We're going to see if somebody going to be put in the coffin or not. So
let Drake live. Ain't nobody think about the Drake in Australia. Don't let him live. Whatever happens. You know what I'm saying? It won't be the end. It won't be the end.
He still be watching. He'll still be watching. But no, again, New Orleans is a great place. I hope everybody is well and ready on both sides, just not with the Eagles, but well and ready to go. And let's like my old little saying back when Celebrity Deathmatch was on, let's get it on. But no, y'all, that is it. Make sure if y'all staying on Red Zone in the media, check out, because I know we got to pop off and they got another show coming on at 8 to talk more football. So make sure y'all stay on and stay connected. And like I said, next week we are officially draft oriented. We're a prospect of the off season, baby. It's off season time.
Everybody going fish.
Okay.
Everybody going fish.
Woo! But now, y'all, we'll catch y'all next week and we'll holler.